Patrik Pietschmann is well known for his piano arrangements, particularly of film music, but something that not as many people know about is that he has actually released a number of his own original compositions, which are incredible. In this video we'll be going through a selection of compositions which I could find on his channel, analysing them and then ranking them on a tier list with respect to difficulty to determine which of his compositions are the hardest to play. The first piece we'll be looking at is a piece called Echoes from the Past. It's one of my favourites. Let's get into it. This piece is such a calm beginning, and it's also really long, at over 8 minutes, and something that I just love about Patrik's compositions is that he writes in his descriptions his thoughts and ideas behind each piece which he creates, and this is what Patrik had to say about this piece. Our memories and experiences, whether positive or negative, make us who we are today, and who we want to be in the future. Like resonating echoes, they remind us of every single day of what is important in life and what makes each of us unique. Like a compass, they give us direction in times of disorientation and help us stay true to ourselves. That's what I wanted to express musically with Echoes from the Past. Now, I don't know about you, but I think this really hits home to so many people, and this piece reminds us of this. The way the melody is constructed to have these rising and falling figurations, almost as if the sound is sort of dying and then bouncing back like a real echo. It's just so cool to listen to. Now, I won't go into crazy detail with this piece, as I have gone through it in part 2 of the Patrik Pietschmann ranking series, but in terms of ranking, I'll have to put it in God level. I think some of his compositions, which we'll be looking at later, are like a level above, so I'm going to reserve the S tier for those. But yeah, I mean, this is a solid piece. I mean, if you learn this, you must be very advanced. The next piece we'll be looking at is a piece called The Way of Hope. Here's what Patrik had to say about this composition. The Way of Hope is dedicated to all those who are currently going through difficult times, or have gone through some in their past. What has been on my mind and challenging me a lot lately is the fact that life is temporary, but offers endless possibilities. Each day brings you and me to new forks in the road where we must decide which path to take. And each time we always carry the hope within us that we have made the right decision, even if there is no certainty about it. Now, when you listen to this piece and you think about, what he had to say about it, I think it really just sort of joined the dots. Even from the opening, you can tell there's something sort of dark about it, but at the same time, you can just, there's light at the end of the tunnel. The opening also creates this feeling of multiple parts, with an upper melody and then crotchet chordal accompaniment, and that sort of goes through the entire piece. I think it has a deeper meaning than just keeping the tempo going. I think it's more about having this sort of constant crotchet. It's like constant improvements. It's like the steps you make to sort of get out of a bad situation. And once again, that links back to, hope. This key idea of hope going through the entire piece. At about 2 minutes 10, there are some more octaves, mainly in the left hand, and you obviously have right hand melody. It is fairly easy, not many challenging sections. So in terms of ranking, I'll put it in the middle of easy tier. The next piece we'll be looking at is Violet Melody. was from a little while ago. I couldn't find any information about, his thoughts behind the piece, so we'll have to be going strictly analysis on this one. Up until 1 minute 15, there's a lot of left-hand emphasis and a lot of coordination which is required, because you have these arpeggiated runs in the left hand and then you sort of finish them with the right hand. So you do need a fair amount of coordination to get that seamless coverage. At 1 minute 15, there are some more embedded melodies, but they are manageable, relaxed tempo and all that, and it's pretty easy to understand harmonic rhythm and regular melody. I think there is a little bit of a technical part at 2 minutes 9. There's a 3-octave descending figuration in the right hand, but in the grand scheme of things, I think it's fairly manageable for most players. So I will be putting it in the bottom end of medium tier. The next piece we'll be looking at is quite recent. It's a piece called Binary. Essentially, music consists of frequencies and amplitudes that are combined and ordered in time, timbre, harmony, melody, rhythm, tempo and form, and it is fascinating that a certain sequence of tones can touch us emotionally, even though, physically speaking, it only consists of vibrations. This interplay of simplicity and complexity mirrors the digital binary system, in which the seemingly simple states of 0 and 1 can create an entire digital reality, just as a series of notes in music creates a deeply emotional experience. I mean, you can just hear this even from the tempo he chooses. It's fast and electric, almost like the inner workings of a digital device. There's a syncopated chordal melody over a rhythmic left-hand ostinato, which once again drives that sort of electric tempo like clockwork. At 58 seconds, you start to see some descending right-hand arpeggiated figurations, running down before each major chord change, and this just adds emphasis, adds more power. Last thing that I wanted to mention, at 2 minutes 47, there's this really cool descending run before the main theme returns. However, it is easier than it looks, because it only involves one hand crossing to cover all of the notes in the required octaves for the run, and also the heavy left-hand octave bass can cover minor mistakes in the run if you are to make any, so you can botch it up a little bit if you make a mistake. But yeah, most of the sections in this piece are repeated. There's a little bit of varying texture and dynamics, but overall, many skills developed in any one section are transferable to the others. So in terms of ranking then, I'll put it in high medium. The next piece we'll be looking at is a piece called When the End Becomes the Beginning. I dedicate this piece to everyone who feels like something important in their life has ended. Sometimes an ending is just the start of something new. As a child and teenager, I had to move many times. I often had to leave friends and familiar things behind. That was hard. But two things stayed with me the whole time: my love for music and my interest in computers. These gave me strength when things were difficult. The piece begins with this really graceful melody, with the left hand outlining the harmony, but in a way to not take away from the melody, and it does so by using these slow broken chords, and this idea later develops into octave melody in the right hand and some new ideas later on. At 2:25, this section sort of reminds me of Patrik's arrangement of Oppenheimer. This section is a lot more animated with alternating notes, keeping the bass note the same, and this sort of technique is also seen in Patrik's arrangement of How to Train Your Dragon. You see it at the start of Test Drive especially. In terms of difficulty, there are a lot of advanced techniques used within this piece, so I think I'm inclined to say God level, but I won't put it higher than Echoes from the Past. Okay, so these are the final rankings. I will be making another Excel spreadsheet, or at least continuing the one that's already created for Patrik Pietschmann. But yeah, thanks for all the support, and thanks for watching.